Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to today's edition of the Vantage Point. On today's program, I'll be talking with Mr. Ganesh Mahipaul. He's a candidate for the APNU+AFC coalition in this year's regional and general elections. Now, recently, the coalition launched its elections manifesto, and it focuses heavily on the decade of development. What are your thoughts on the manifesto?
Thank you very much, Alpha, for having me once again on Vantage Point. And before I go into the manifesto, allow me to extend Pagwa greetings to my Hindu brothers and sisters. They are in the festive season of Pagwa, and as a coalition movement, I believe, because we stand so firm on social cohesion and we stand so firm in respecting all of our religious bodies, and we are so multicultural, multi-ethnic, and multi-religious, I believe I owe it to the Hindu community to send Pagwa greetings to them all. Reference to our manifesto, I think this document is just more than a manifesto. When you examine this coalition document, this APNU+AFC document, you recognize that there is a sense of togetherness, that sense of strength to the people of Guyana, and it binds us as a people. And that is why I want to believe that it is indeed a contract between the APNU+AFC and the people of Guyana. Because of when you look at this document and you examine it, you can't help but fall in love with it because of what it promises our Guyanese people. And I am very, very optimistic knowing that with this decade of development and with the oil resource that is coming and the many other extractive industries that we have bringing in wealth to our country, we are on a rapid takeoff as a country. We have to ensure that we do it together. We have to ensure that we stay united and strong as a people. And I believe we have to recognize that experience is what we need in leadership. And that is why reassuring David Granger of a second term is what will take us through the decade of development and forward thinking for our country.
Now, you mentioned experience. I guess a lot of experience would have been put into the crafting of this manifesto. What is the difference between the manifesto that you have and the one that the coalition went into government with in the year 2015?
The thing is, Alva, in 2015, before we ran in the elections, we were in the opposition. And when you're in the opposition, to understand what is happening in government and to understand what is happening at the level of the cabinet, you have to depend on who's there to provide you with the information. So that is why there's a National Assembly. So when we asked the questions as opposition, we were expecting honest answers from the People's Progressive Party. They were in government. Unfortunately, when we took office in 2015, we recognized that what they were saying to us in opposition was not accurate, and they did not present the real information to us when we were in opposition. And that is what is the difference now as in compared to 2015. We are in government. We know what is the position of the country. We know what is the position of our industries. We know where the resources will be coming from to fund and these programs that we are committing to the people of Guyana in our Manifesto 2020, and we know where we are. So when you know where you are, you know where you want to go. And the crafting of Manifesto 2020, the APNU+AFC Manifesto, it was done in a consultative manner, where the government, over the 4.5 years, they visited various communities across the 83,000 square miles of this country, and they interacted with the people. They went directly to the grassroots, and they had dialogue with the people of the communities. We listened to what they said, and based on what they were saying to us, that is how we crafted Manifesto 2020.
Okay, now last year, I think it was early this year, there were some publications, I think the IDB, one of them, there were some statistics about the growth that the economy is expected to experience this year, rapid growth, which is I think 86%. How does the government plan to enforce its programs knowing that there's that statistic at the back of their minds?
Well, we're happy that many agencies foresee boom and an economic growth for our country. We also know that there is going to be a significant economic growth. We know that our people will continue to see the influx of the good life, but we believe solidly that in order for there to be sustainability and for there to be the preservation of our country in such a state for the future generation to enjoy it even better than what we are enjoying it, there has to be focus on certain aspects of our programs that we are committing to the people of Guyana. And one such program is the education program. We believe that education is very important to nation building. We believe education can lift this entire nation out of poverty. And if we are going to be receiving such wealth, then we have to be able to put ourselves in a position where we will be able to utilize it meaningfully for the future generation and going forward. That is why you find that President Granger is so focused on education, because we believe in lifting our nation from poverty. The focus has to be on education. In that very manifesto, you will find that we are committing to the children of our country that they should get 3 solid meals in school, as opposed to what we are currently giving, which is the hot meal, and that is good. The political opposition, they may want to say that they had a school feeding program, but Alva, let me tell you something. 5 biscuits and a juice, that is not a school feeding program. We believe in giving our children nutritious food that can ensure that they are in a stable state and they're able to learn at a better rate and they're able to deliver. We have seen what it is in terms of the current education programs we have and the results that are there. We foresee going forward that every child, they should have an electronic tablet. That electronic tablet, we're going to have electronic textbooks downloaded on it. So every child is going to have access to a textbook. Every child is going to have that at their disposal for them to study, and they will not have to go and borrow from their friends or borrow from somebody. Parents will not have to go and buy textbooks, but above all, they will not have to fetch any heavy weight on their backs. So you are taking care of the future generation, and at the same time you are evolving them into a technological world. That is where education needs to go. We are also focusing on curriculum reform, so our teachers, they can expect a better curriculum and more focus on with the children. So, that is just a part of the package that is for education. We also know that we're going to continue to strengthen our 5Bs program, because the 5Bs program has proven that children are going to school. The truancy rate has decreased across our country. Better salaries for our teachers. We have given over 42% increase in salaries for our public servants, teachers, nurses, doctors, and so on. The focus is on the education sector, because I say to you again, lifting the nation out of poverty has to do with us educating our people.
Now, on the same subject of education, the voting population, I guess they may have been excited to hear the president said at some of the rallies recently about education at university, free education. How does the government plan to enforce this this plan of free education? Is it going to be done in a right away, or is there a process involved? Is there a plan in the making?
Mr. Solomon, we have a government that respects our constitution, that has been following our constitution. We have a decent and honest president. It is enshrined in the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana that education must be free from nursery to tertiary. So the return of free education to this university, to the people of Guyana at the University of Guyana, will take effect from President Granger himself. We can't depend on no other person to give us free education, because it is President Granger who has said it umpteen times. It is in the Constitution. It has to be honored. We are going to receive unprecedented wealth coming to our country, and we can use that resource to subsidize the cost of our tertiary education. But not only do we want to give the free education, we want to see a modernized university, a university that can compete with those in Canada, those in America, even UE, University of the West Indies. We must have a state-of-the-art university that is going to take us forward. But far more than that also, we have to recognize the importance of us having a change in how we deliver at the University of Guyana, to focus more on current affairs and going forward in terms of the STEM program, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, because that is the direction the world is going. And all we have to do is keep up.
Okay, so other areas of the economy, the manifesto speaks to governance, the governance structure. Constitutional reform is one of those issues which came up a while in the process of governance under this administration. And I saw recently one of the candidates of the government have said that there is a commitment to develop the process more. Is that, how realistic will it be within the next, let's say, re-elected in the next government?
Constitutional reform is something that has to happen because, as I said to you earlier, the world is changing. We are in a dynamic world, and every day there is some level of development, technological wise and so on. So there is need for constitutional reform. I don't think there is any doubt in terms of constitutional reform, but the process will require a heavy input from not only both sides, but we have to have a number of outreaches. We have to ensure that we dialogue with our people. We have to ensure that they have representation. We don't want to go into a system where only a fraction of our country participate. We want our entire country to have a say in what is going to be done in terms of constitutional reform. I think we're heading down the right route in terms of focusing on constitutional reform, but at the same time, given what is happening before us in terms of the changes in the dynamics of our world, the technological advancement, the vast majority of resource that is coming, there is the focus on education, there is the focus on health, there is the focus on public infrastructure, there is the focus on governance, there is this focus on social services. Our manifesto has touched a wide, in fact, we have touched every single sector in our country. And what we have done over the last 4.5 years was setting the foundation, and it is just a small part of what is yet to come in this decade of development that our presidents speak about.
Okay, now there are other sectors of the economy which the government plans to focus heavily on in this manifesto. One of them is the health sector, and you have mentioned just now that there are some plans to further develop the health sector. Are you confident that the manifesto will take care of all those plans in the new government?
I'm very confident. You see, when you have a caring government and you have a president that understands the people of the country, then you are forced to agree that he is moving in the right direction. Our president has said that Guyanese must not travel great distances to receive medical attention. And that is so true. We have situations where people have to come from far-flung regions and they have to come to Georgetown for medical attention. Then you have, even right in Region 3, you have people from Saxacali, Lanabali, Murishi, Alaki and the likes. They have to travel all the way to West Demerara Hospital for medical attention, and sometimes they will have to be transferred, if we can't deal with it there, to Georgetown. But our president is guiding us that we should have state-of-the-art health facilities in every single region. Now, if you have a state-of-the-art health facility in region number 3, which is on the way, I'm going to tell you that there is already, the feasibility study has already is already in progress, and when that is completed, we are going to move to build a modernized hospital in the region, and that means that we are going to upgrade the Lenora Cottage Hospital also, because there must be a catchment area for Lenora Cottage Hospital, there must be a catchment area for the West Demerara Regional Hospital. We are going to upgrade the LaQuan Cottage Hospital and the Wakenham Cottage Hospital. We're going to upgrade the Parika Health Center. These facilities must be able to deliver the service to the people, and each facility must have a catchment area. So the same services that you're getting at West Demerara Regional Hospital, you must be able to get it at Lenora, you must be able to get it at Wakenham, you must be able to get it at Parika, you must be able to get it at LaQuan. The point is, when you develop these facilities and you strengthen them and they provide service to catchment areas, you are not flooding any facility, or you're not inundating it to the state whereby it drives frustration in the minds of our service providers. You're frustrating our doctors doctor with overload on, you know, the nurses, midwives, and so on. So President Granger is in the right direction by saying that we need to modernize our health facility. We need to ensure that all our facilities cater for catchment areas and they can provide services equally across our country. Region 9 must benefit like that. Region 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Every region must have a state-of-the-art, modernized main hospital, and every health center and cottage hospitals that are within the region, their standards must be lifted.
And I'm guessing that there's evidence in recent years that in the past 2 to 3 years, I think last year, or a couple of months ago, the Buxton Health Center and the Maikoni Hospital were announced as facilities which have new services which are being offered to the populace.
LaQuan too, not LaQuan, Lenora Cottage Hospital. I think the 21st of February we're going to commission a state-of-the-art maternity ward there. And that is good because you are spreading out the resources and you are ensuring that people don't have to travel great distances to get medical assistance. You see, a nation's wealth is really its health. And we have to focus on health if we intend to stay wealthy.
What about the service providers, those doctors, nurses? I know a lot of people have been saying that, you know, the salary, there's need for increase in salaries. Government has tried to do satisfied.
Over the 4.5 years, Alva, doctors have received 42% salary increase. Something that has never happened. Any 4-year period of the previous administration cannot be compared to this 4 years of this administration. And that is without a shadow of a doubt. The thing is, perception versus reality, and I think I sat here and we spoke about perception and reality before. When you educate yourselves and when you be familiar with the information that is accurate, you're able to differentiate what is false and what are facts. And doctors know to themselves that they have received a good salary increase under this administration, and they know that going forward, better is coming. But at the end of the day, there still needs to be, like what I was saying to you, the whole decentralization of the services, because Georgetown Hospital happens to be the facility that is the main facility. It is being, everybody is just centered there. But with this plan that we have in place, that was actually crafted by David Granger. The plan is to ensure that, just like what we did with the passport office, you're not seeing all those lines and so on at the passport office in Georgetown.
There's a new Berbice.
Yeah, there's a new one in Berbice. Then Linden has one, Essequibo has one. So when you decentralize the service, you are allowing the agencies to have a catchment. And when they deal with the catchment, you're not flooding out one facility, which is a very positive move. And that is the direction that our government, that is what we're heading in. We do not want to have everything centered one place, because to have 750,000 people being serviced by one facility, it's outdated. So we have to ensure that we decentralize, we have to ensure that we develop, and that is why townships are open. We have Letem, Mabaruma, Madia, I think it's 4. And that is why they're open out, so that they can cater for their region and they can become the real growth engine in their region, and economic empowerment comes from that. Infrastructure is also extremely important. We are going to continue, as you have seen in our manifesto, we are going to continue to invest in proper infrastructure. We have to have good farm-to-market roads. We have to continue to build reinforced concrete bridges. We're talking about a high-rise bridge across the Demerara Harbor Bridge. We're talking about opening the Goshen, the Parika to Goshen road link, so you open out the lands for development. We're talking about strengthening our sea defense structure. We are talking about empowering our people through the various sectors that we have as a government, so that ultimately the beneficiaries will be the people of Guyana. And you and I may not be able to enjoy the monster buildings that will go up in due time, but our children and grandchildren, they will. We have to set the foundation. And that is why I am so anxious, I am so committed, and I'm so determined to fight for a Guyana where my children and grandchildren will be able to say, you know what, my grandfather or my father, he fought for this, that is why we're enjoying it. So if there's any appeal I can make on your program, it is for people to recognize that this fight for a better Guyana with President Granger at the helm is all about preserving a Guyana for the future generation.
All right. Now, there is in governing a country, there has to be systems in place to safeguard corruption, that sort of thing happening. Now, in the manifesto, there's mention of the establishment of the SARA. There's also mention of resuscitation of the Integrity Commission. I think recently there was some media reports about whose names are on the list, and the fact that those things are mentioned and people are being made to give account for themselves, those in public office, speaks to the whole thing of keeping checks and balances on those in positions. Now, how does the manifesto plan to carry this forward?
Alva, we're the government that strengthened SARA, that strengthened SOCO. We brought back the Integrity Commission. We had in place the the tender board system, the Public Accounts Committee, and all these different agencies that deal with holding the government accountable for their actions and so on. We have focused on that. There is no doubt about that. We have put resources. We have respected state agencies. We're allowing state agencies to function. We do have a little bit of hiccups, but at the end of the day, they are there. They are Guyana's institution. They belong to the state. They are functioning effectively. There needs to be more strengthened, and that is what we are doing as a government. Going forward, all we will continue to do is to respect the autonomy of these agencies. We will respect the independence that they enjoy, but at the same time, we have to also watch out for the square pegs in round holes. And sometimes we have people that are serving on these agencies that may have their own ulterior motive at hand, and they may believe that they can do things to stymie growth, and they may want to just get at their government and so on. All of that are things that we have to look at. But at the end of the day, the institutions, they must be strengthened. David Granger has strengthened them from 2015 to date, and the focus will be for us to ensure that the servants of the state, the servants, the people who are operating, they operate in a professional manner and they stay committed to their job, not them being seen with persons that are politically affiliated at some bar or somewhere in Canada and so on. You have to ensure that you have people that possess decency, integrity, and they are committed to the country's cause and not a political party or an individual cause.
Okay, now development of the economy. Recently, in the past couple of days, there have been some hotel chains which have expressed some interest in establishing bases here. And I guess in the coming years, a lot more will come. How does the government plan to address who wants to come, who wants to invest?
Well, I'm certain that there is going to be a system in place, because we can't just have people just coming as they like and so on. I'm certain that there is going to be a system in place, which the Ministry of Business, of course, will have to play a meaningful role in terms of streamlining the modus operandi of how they go about and invest and facilitate such actions. But the fact that we're having all of these investments, the fact that we're having so much persons expressing an interest to come to Guyana can only help us to agree that we will become the Dubai of South America, and we will become the giant in the Caribbean, and we have to embrace it. It's ours to love and keep and preserve for the future generation.
Now, I know you're a busy person and you have been on the ground doing your campaigning and so, and I think you have to go to some part of the Essequibo today.
Yes, LaQuan.
What are the plans there?
Well, LaQuan has seen tremendous transformation over the last 4.5 years. LaQuan has gotten asphaltic concrete roads, 100%. There were reinforced concrete bridges that were built. Millions of dollars were spent on sea defense infrastructure. Street lights are available on LaQuan. The planting chip factory will be up and running. It's an economic powerhouse for the island. And you have a number of people that are gravitating to the APNUAFC from that island.
It is a stronghold
of the PPP. Yeah, the last time we got about 200 and something votes there, the APNUAFC, and the PPP got about 1,600. But I'm confident that the results are going to be so changing now. The change is going to be so much now that the PPP might just hold their head at ball. But at the end of the day, I'm saying, I want to tell you that I'm happy that you pointed out it's a stronghold of the PPP, because even though it is a stronghold of the PPP, the APNUAFC, we did not segregate, we did not differentiate, we did not just fix strongholds of us. We are a government that serves all our people. And the people of LaQuan, they have recognized that. They have recognized that even though they voted PPP the last election, they were not put aside, they were not left to wither in a corner. Instead, they were looked at, their attention was paid to them. Wakenham is the same thing. The people have recognized that we as a government, we have recognized that there is need for us to strengthen these islands. There is need for us to focus on developing these islands, because as much as we're getting oil, we don't want to forget the soil. Agriculture is extremely important. We want persons to continue to farm. We want to know that we are catering for our farmers, and not only LaQuan and Wakenham, but all across this country. And I'm saying to the public that with oil, we will not forget the soil. That is the president that we have in the name of David Granger, and that's how he's guiding us.
You mentioned the word oil and the soil. So now the last thing I want to ask you is about the manifesto. We're coming back to that. What has been the feedback like from the populace and persons who you may interacted with recently about the manifesto?
Extraordinary, extraordinary. People are gravitating to it, the manifesto. Persons have, what they have told us when we were visiting their communities, they see it being reflected in the manifesto, and they're happy that we have listened to them. They're happy that we have taken their advice. They're happy that we have put it on paper, and they're happy that we are going to execute it after March 2nd, 2020. Let me tell you something. Everywhere I go, people want green and yellow. Everywhere I go. And had we known that 750,000 people would have asked us for green and yellow, then we would have catered for the entire country's population. But that's how it goes. And we are a movement. The coalition is a movement that promotes love, unity, and togetherness. The coalition is a movement that is binded by an accord. The coalition is a movement that really wants what is right for Guyana. We are fighting for the future generation. I keep saying that. And the coalition is on the path of real progress. And all I can tell you is embrace the coalition, recognize that the coalition is a family movement, and with family comes love, with family comes togetherness, with family comes unity, and we are going forward as one big family under what our president says, the BENAB, the big BENAB, and we have space for everyone.
Okay, so is there anything finally we want to have say about the preparations for elections and the whole campaigning?
Well, I would like to appeal to all Guyanese that yes, we are in campaign season.
We're talking about on elections day, there are some things that people need to do, you know, when they go to vote, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I will advise that people, when they cast their ballot, they go with their ID cards, of course. They go early, they cast their ballot, and then they go home and they have a peaceful rest of the day. I don't want us to ever think along the line of violence. I don't want us to think along the line of hatred. I want us to maintain peace. I want us to maintain love. We must look at each other as brothers and sisters. We must continue along the line of having strong hope for our country.
Regardless of your choice.
Regardless of your choice. But I believe everybody is going to choose APNUAFC. But regardless of your choice, let us realize that we are one big family. We are moving Guyana forward, and we're moving it for all Guyanese. And we're going to maintain peace, and we're going to await the Guyana Elections Commission, because they are the authorized body to declare the results.
Okay, Mr. Mahipaul, thanks for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me, Alpha.
Okay, thanks for joining us on today's program. We have been talking with Mr. Ganesh Mahipaul. He's a regional candidate for the coalition, the APNU+AFC coalition, and he is confident that once re-elected, the government will be able to enforce its plans as stated here in the 2020 elections manifesto. Thanks again for joining us on today's program.
Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyol's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive!
The voting process. Once you have been identified as the elector you claim to be, you would be given a ballot paper that is stamped at the back, top and bottom halves in your presence. On the ballot paper, provision is made for you to vote twice. Once at the top section where you vote for the party of your choice in the general election, and once at the bottom section where you vote for the party of your choice in the regional election. Make your mark in the box provided on the right of your choice. After you have voted, fold the ballot paper as shown by the election official. Dip the first joint of your right index finger in the ink provided and place the ballot paper in the ballot box that is there for this purpose. You would then have to peacefully depart the polling station. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-027729, 223-9653, email pro@gcom.org.gy or visit GCOM's website at www.gcom.org.gy.